Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the broadcast. My name is Gobind. This is your Channel for Grace. Thank you guys so much for watching this replay, and thank you guys so much for being here live. I see you guys in there. Hey Sparky. Hey Shannon. Hey Wendy. How's it going? Hey Christina. Hey Cole. Hey, hello Amber. Hello Valerie. Hi Sheila. How are you? It's good to see you guys. It's good to be live again. It almost seems like time's flying by these days. It must be because I keep myself so busy that it feels like time's just flying by. But it's exciting to be back here with you guys. Today we are going to do mini readings, and we are also going to talk about Chiron retrograde and Chiron conjuncting Mars, and also Mercury going direct, because it's all happening in the next few days. And it's the next major events before we get to the double new moon in Cancer, which is going to be on the 20th. So there is a little bit, when I sent out the newsletter, the weekly newsletter that I sent out on Wednesdays, which, by the way, if you're not on my email list, make sure you get on my email list. I send these out every week. But when I sent it out, I said there's going to be a little bit of a break that we're going to get, because we just went through, we just got run over by the bus, basically, energetically, with these 3 eclipses. And now it's almost like, it's so funny that I'm going to give you this example because it's crazy. So the other day I'm sitting here and I hear a loud noise outside. And then I hear a car come to a screeching halt. And then I hear this person yelling, "Why did you do that? Why did you throw that?" So I look out the window and I'm like, what's going on over there? And it turns out one of my neighbors threw a shoe at a car that was driving by. Hey, Danny, how's it going? Threw a shoe at a car, someone that was driving by, I guess because he thought they were speeding or something. I don't even know, because I just remember looking out the window being like, WTF? Why would somebody do that? It was a young kid that was driving the car, and this kid comes out and he's pissed, because now his window's all cracked, right? So then they're out there yelling at each other, and I'm watching from my window, I'm on the second story, and it's funny. I'm laughing now, but it's not funny. You know what I mean? But basically I am watching, observing what's going on, and then eventually the kid calls the cops, and the cops come. And then, like, a few days later, today, it's like I'm I'm going to go pick up some food that I ordered. Then I have Gaia in the car, and we watch a fire truck go by. And Gaia starts howling, right? She starts howling at the fire truck, and we're like, "Whoa!" to the fire truck, and we're just like having a blast. And little did I know, I finish what I'm eating and I pull back into the house, and the fire truck was like at my house, not my house, but like, I live in an apartment building. And I'm like, what is going on? So I had to go around to actually get to my place. But then I saw there was an ambulance covering my garage door. So I couldn't park my car in my garage because it was like blocked by this emergency vehicles. And guess what? It's the neighbors again. I don't know what happened. Somebody must have called 911. Like, I literally have no idea. But that's kind of what the energy of like the eclipses that we just went through and all the crazy astrology that we just went through kind of feels like. It's like we're in the aftermath of it, right? Like the fire truck came and the ambulance came and it was all the commotion, and now it's like all the the ambulance left, whoever had to, you know what I mean? Everything got taken care of, and we're just sitting here like, what just happened? Well, that's kind of what the energy right now feels like. I mean, you guys tell me, right? But I just thought it's a good example, because that's literally what's happening. Everyone's kind of like, I think that like there was so much intensity in the astrology, and now all of a sudden it just feels like we get a little bit of a break, but it's not really a break because we're about to enter this like cycle of Chiron going retrograde. And there are already a lot of what, Valerie? There are already a lot of planets already retrograde, and so it's just a mixture of there's so much going on, and I have been feeling like time's going really fast as well. I'm totally missing all of your comments because I'm blabbing. But hang on, let me check and see what you guys are saying. Yeah, thank you guys for being here. If you want to get on the list for tonight, it's $25 to my PayPal, and the link is in the description of the video. How's it going, everybody that's here watching? Thank you for supporting me and hanging out. Probably going on a joyride or something. Oh, gee. That's funny. Valerie, I hope you're okay. Sounds a little... Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, we'll send some prayers your way, Valerie, for Greg to be better. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today, but we're also, we're going to do the readings too. There's a really awesome stuff that I've been working on. Like I said, I've been keeping myself like super busy, and it feels like I haven't stopped since I got back from my trip, and there's talk of another trip. Like, oh my God. I told Dawn, I was like, because he is already on a trip again. He came and he left. Like, we got home, I stayed, and I went like hardcore into working. I worked on, the module 2 for Aquarian astrology, because I'm doing the astrology class. If you don't know about that, everything's on my website, but I did that. We did that. And then we did the summer webinar. And then it was like, I'm working on other stuff. Like, I've got another project going. It's a journal. Like, me and my friend from Colorado are creating a journal that is going to cover basically like starting October 31st of 2020, which is Samhain in the Celtic tradition. So she's like the Celtic tradition, like, guru, and I'm like the astrology guru. And so we're bringing both of those things together into this beautiful project. So we're merging the astrology, the Western astrology, with the Celtic tradition, which is basically the cycle of the sun. But the way we're putting it together is we're going to have, the major full and new moons of the entire year from October 31st to October 31st of 2021. And so I've been literally doing the astrology for all of next year. Like, I have all of next year astrology in my head. It's crazy, but I've been working on that, and it's been amazing. It's been a really fun project. And then I started, you guys know, like, next week, can you believe it that next week it's already the new moon? We're already at the new moon, the double new moon in Cancer, which is going to be heavy again, because it is basically touching on everything that the eclipses brought up. And remember, we just had 3 eclipses. It was in June 5th, full moon, lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. And then on the summer solstice, it was the new moon solar eclipse in Cancer. And then we just had the full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn. And now we're going to have a double new moon in Cancer. And so it's all intertwined, and these weird, like, there's a weird shift in the astrology that's happening, because from this next new moon on, we're going to start to see the full moon come before the new moon. And it's going to go on for a whole year until we have 2 full moons in Aquarius in 2021, towards like closer to the end of 2021, and that's going to finish that cycle. So the Aquarius energy that's coming is massive, but right now our focus is on, we're still in like this kind of Capricorn sort of age. 2020 is all about Capricorn energy. And so it really is about focusing. It's like a business mind. It's also like you got to prepare yourself for what could happen. You have to make sure that you're not, I mean, going with the flow, we love saying that, but we have to make sure right now that we're actually prepared for like emergency situations. Like, do you have enough food in case you have to, everything's closed? Like, I mean, I've heard that they're talking about closing the Canada borders, and a lot of, there's a lot of things that are kind of up in the air, but like really solid things that could create a lot of issues if you're not prepared. And so that's the focus. But then along with all that energy, we're having to deal with like internal processes. And that's where we can start to talk about, this transit about Chiron going retrograde. The one on the summer solstice was on my brother-in-law's 40th birthday. Wow. So that means that sun actually exactly aspected your brother's sun. That's crazy. The one on June 5th, the one on June 5th was really close to my son, my birthday. But as you know, I've been working really hard, and the things that I wanted to share with you before we actually talk about Chiron, who is the wounded healer, is the fact that I am freaking ecstatic about the Moon Goddess training. We're starting next Sunday. So not in 2 days, but on the 19th. And it's going to be a 4-week program. It's going to be only 108. Like, I've significantly reduced the price for that program, but we're going to like hit the ground running on Sunday. And we always start the Moon Goddess training with a new moon cycle. And we go together through the whole cycle of the moon, learning about the moon, learning about the phases, like experiencing it for ourselves. Like in the Facebook group, I tell you, like, today the moon is in this sign, and it's going to be in this sign for this many days, and it's going to feel like this. And this is what the astrology is saying. So you get to experience like an entire 28 and a half, 29 day cycle of the moon together. But that's not even like the all of it. We talk about topics that are really important to like I was talking about being prepared. Some of the things that we need right now, we need tools, especially as women. We need tools to like stay sane. We need tools to stay grounded, and we need tools to stay connected, and we need community. Because right now we're like cut off from like access to people physically, but having the access to people through the internet it's really profound. I've only done the Moon Goddess training through, it's an online program, and the group has been kind of building, and everybody gets kind of entered into the same Facebook group. And so it is a community, because the people, all the women that have signed up, which thank you so much, and the women that are going to sign up for this program will get kind of ushered into the group that we have going of support, mutual support for each other. And I know that there's been a lot of friendships that have come out of the programs that I run. And so I am just really excited to help guide you into the next phase. And we're going to talk about the astrology. We're going to talk about the moon specifically. Obviously, it's the Moon Goddess training, but I'm actually going to do a whole class where we'll look at the moon in your chart, in everybody's chart that's in the class, and the aspects that it's making to any other major planets, and what that means for you in regards to your personality, in regards to like your relationship to your mother figure, or like parent, but like mother parent figure in your life, and what that means for you now, and like what happens when, you know, the moon, there's a full moon or a new moon that's in the sign that your moon is in, and things like that. So like details that I don't really get to go into when I'm live, we're going to get to go into in the Moon Goddess training. So if you're on the fence, I highly recommend you sign up. And those of you guys that have already done it, you know that you get to join us if you want to. So that's the gift you get when you do the Moon Goddess training, is you get to come back to all the other Moon Goddess trainings if you want to. And then I'm wearing my little zodiac necklace, you guys. I don't know if you have seen these in the Etsy shop, but go check it out. I've also have the Moon Goddess necklaces on there as well. And these are, both of these are creations that are like fully original, and also something that I've been wanting to create for a really long time. So go check it out on Etsy. That's what's happening. And I think that's it. I actually got everything ready for module 3, which is all about the moon, learning astrology for the Aquarian astrology class. So if you want to sign up already, you can. The official date that we are going to be doing the class is June. I hope I put that right in there, but it's July 23rd. So if you're ready to, and I did it on purpose. That's what we're going to do. We're going to start the Moon Goddess training, and then the module 3, which is all about the moon in astrology, is going to be on the 23rd. And the reason is because I want the Moon Goddess training ladies to be able to also access that information. So they'll get that much more. But that's exciting, and it's ready. When you go on the website, you can sign up for it, and it says a lot of stuff says coming soon, but I just wanted to have it out there so people, if you're like an early, an early bird person, I'm kind of like that, then it's already there. So let's talk about Chiron. Let's talk about Chiron. Pretty significant stuff going on. If you watch the summer webinar, you know that we talked about all of the astrology for like the next 3 months, and there are some major things. So this week I wanted to focus on Chiron, and Chiron going retrograde. Chiron is actually going retrograde tomorrow, and he's gonna be retrograde until December 15th, you guys. And when Chiron goes retrograde, you're talking about the wounded healer. You're talking about, the planet. I call it a planet, but you're talking about the planet that is in your own chart. You have Chiron in a sign, and it tells you your core wound. It's the wound that you need to heal in this lifetime in order to like liberate yourself. Between the Chiron and the South Node, you've got 2 major key points in your life that are so important to look at if you want to truly heal and move forward, and sort of like what we would call have this, ascension or awakening in your life. But truly deep healing comes from Chiron, and it comes from the issues of the South Node. And so Chiron going retrograde, and Chiron moves pretty slow. It's been in Aries for a while, and when it goes retrograde, it's a long time. I mean, July through December 15th, that's like for the next half of the year, Chiron is going to be retrograde. And every time it goes retrograde, it's like this introspective journey. We go within, and we start to look at everything that we have experienced, everything that we have gone through in terms of any kind of healing that we've done. And I'm talking about deep, like soulful healing, where like you'll go through a situation that just like tears you down, like just breaks things down and leaves you like breathless in a way. More than breathless, it leaves you feeling like you can't breathe, It leaves you feeling like you don't know what's next, but somehow that like it was meant to be, and from here on out, that there's a better future. But Chiron is known as the wounded healer, and he shows us this is the path that we chose for healing. Now, collectively, right now, Chiron is in Aries. So when you talk about transits and how they affect you in your own chart, that's how Chiron is affecting all of us right now in Aries, in the sign of Aries. So what does that mean? Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Aries is the ego. It's like it's the one that sprouts into action. It's a cardinal fire sign. So it's fiery, it's passionate. When you think about like what's the wound, what's the core wound of an Aries? Well, you think about all the things that happens when an Aries is like in an unbalanced state. They get impulsive. They act without thinking. They don't think about anybody else. They also act on things, but they don't actually think of the future. So it's an energy that can be used for springing yourself into action. But if you use it in a negative way, it can literally cause your ego to like get big and to think that you're the best and you know the best way to do things, and you make decisions and you don't think about other people. And so that's the wound that we're healing collectively with Chiron. So if you think about society as a whole, if you think about humanity as a whole, we've taken ourselves, right? Like humanity, and I'm talking like generally, and I know this is not everyone, but if you think about like the collective and what most people will just automatically like buy into, basically what we've done is we've made humans the most important animal being on the planet. Like we have put ourselves above anything else on this planet. We have put ourselves above the animals because what do? We hunt them for sport. We hunt them for like their fur. We kill massive amounts of animals for their meat. This is no longer like what it used to be in the past, where like people hunted because they needed, it was a basic need of survival to hunt and kill and eat an animal, or use the animal, parts, or this, I'm talking about ancient cultures where like that was one of their sources of food. But now we've like mass produced like factories of like meat and all these kinds of things, everything, not just meat, but like, we basically rape the earth, for its resources to create things for us, for the humans. So that's gnarly Aries energy. If you like, do you like, I'm giving you that example because that's like, what is Chiron and Aries collectively helping us heal? It's that. It's the fact that we think we're the shit. It's the fact that we think that like we're undefeated, right? Mars is also in Aries, and he does feel undefeated. And he feels like he can do anything that he sets his mind to. But Chiron is like, hold on a second. We're healing this wound. And so I will allow you, Mars, which represents us, because Mars is a personal planet. Like I will allow you, Mars, to move forward. But first, because remember, Mars is going to be in Aries for 6 months. So I will allow you, Mars, to move forward, but you have to confront your ego. And so what's going to happen? Chiron goes retrograde tomorrow. And then on the 14th, when is the 14th? It's next week. Is it today 10, 11, 12? So it's like next Tuesday, I think. Tuesday or Wednesday. Chiron and Aries are actually going to have an exact conjunction. So they're going to like have it out, right? They're going to have it out. And how is this going to affect us? Well, we're going to feel like we're being kind of like, hold on a second. All that Aries moving forward energy, you can't just go without, there's guidelines, right? There's guidelines. They're more like guidelines anyways. I'm just kidding. But there's these rules that if you're going to move forward, you got to do it this way. And you got to face everything that your ego wound. And that has to do with all of us individually, but it has to do with all of us collectively. But basically, when Chiron goes retrograde, the wounds that have been buried deep within the subconscious, they start to come to light. And it becomes like a window of opportunity that allows us to glance at our soul's past journey. So when Chiron is retrograde, it draws in healing. And it's this initiatory alchemical powers that get activated from the actual planet. It's actually, Chiron in Aries, meeting up with Mars in Aries is activating the sacred warrior. So it's everything we could have ever hoped for. You would think that this would be like a gnarly transit. And for some people, I think it will be, because if you can't face your own stuff, then you won't be able to move forward. You'll literally get stuck in that area, and it'll feel like a never-ending journey. But when they come together, they can actually activate the sacredness in us. And so what's the sacred aspect of Mars and Aries? Well, it's the fact that it can get to action, like it can initiate change. And that's how I think we should all be using this transit, is to look within ourselves, anything that comes up, and ask ourselves, like, what is it that we really want in our lives? What is it that we really, what's the healing path that we want to take? What are we willing to let go of? What belief system, what stories that we tell ourselves are we willing to let go of in order to move towards the future? Because the truth is that we're moving towards futuristic energy. On December 21st, of 2020, Saturn and Jupiter will conjunct, and that's going to be the beginning of the Aquarian age. And there's debates about that, but it's a heavy Aquarian energy that we're going to see for all of 2021, and it's a huge transitional period. Like it'll feel like we're like in another dimension in the future, because that's the energy that we're going to feel. We're going to get excited about the future, and so Chiron retrograde and this conjunction to Mars next week is going to bring up questions of like, who am I? Why am I here? I've had this question come up. I mean, with all the stuff that's happening, sometimes I'll be talking to Dawn and I'll be like, what is the point? Like, what are we doing here? We're human. Like, all of us are human, and all of us have those like internal struggles. But sometimes I feel like, God, this is so heavy. Like, how can you stop this train? And then I get reminded of the fact that, like, believing and having faith and believing and focusing on the best possible outcome, not the worst possible outcome, but the best possible outcome, is what we truly need to do right now. That is how we're going to activate that sacred warrior. Because knowing and activating, right, not the negative future, but like the positive future for all of us, that's what's going to get us out of this kind of mess that we're in. But other questions that are going to be like, what do people want from me? Like, what does the world want from me? Those are the kind of questions that are going to be coming up for you in the next 6 months, until December 15th, until Chiron goes direct again. And there's a lot more than just that happening, but that's just one transit of like the millions. I'm just kidding, not millions, but quite a few transits that are happening that are very significant between now and December 15th. And to be exact, Chiron is going to go direct a few days right before that Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. So do you see the bigger picture of this? It's like, you got to go through your stuff. You got to work on yourself. You got to heal. And then you'll be ready to enter the Aquarian age. right? Then you'll be like, you got to cleanse this stuff before you can enter. Like you have to take a shower before you come into my house, like that kind of thing, right? That was kind of a weird example. Or you have to, you know, whenever you go to a spa or hot springs, sometimes they're like, okay, you have to like, you know, after they make you take a shower before you get into pools and things like that. But that's what I'm talking about. It's like you need to cleanse yourself before you enter the temple. And that's why this is happening. And so I'm here now. It's only July, but things are going to start moving faster and faster and faster. And before you know it, boom, that transit's going to hit on December 21st on the winter solstice, and we're going to feel like we're in a completely new world. But for the next, whatever, July, August, September, October, November, December, 6 months, it's like an aggressive energy that will test you and make you deal with your stuff. I'm trying not to cuss. But that's what I wanted to share. So where is this happening in your chart? Because that's one of the things that I think you guys really like about the videos that I do. If you are an Aries Sun or Rising, the theme for you, the healing that you're going to do is your self-healing. This is self-healing for you. Major stuff coming up about you, your personality, who you think you are, all of that stuff. If you're a Taurus Sun or Rising, this is going to be healing you. You know, this transit will be in your 12th house. So it is the kind of healing that is, it's healing your relationship with God. It's healing your relationship with the divine. It's healing your relationship with the mystical. Your relationship with, like, if you believe you don't even have intuition or you're not intuitive, like, it's facing the fact that you are intuitive. Or if you feel like, you know, you don't really have a connection to the mystical, well, it's, you know, you have to face it. You have to, like, at least look at it. And I think this could be one of the more sort of difficult placements for the Aries energy, because you're wanting to like push forward, but at the same time you're confronted with like everything, because the 12th house is like the subconscious mind. It's like the abyss. It's like the, you know, the world of the god Neptune, which is the god of the sea, and the sea is like, we don't even know what's in the entire ocean. It's so deep, so vast. So it's like confronting that, like truth with a capital T. For a Gemini or Gemini Sun or Rising, this is like you healing how you share your gifts with the world. This is in your 11th house. So this is like how you share your gifts. This is, you know, who are you connecting with? Like, are the right people in your life? And if you don't know that, or at least if you know that there's people in your life that you don't really want in your life, well, like, you're going to have to like cut some cords, and you're going to have to just make the decision. And I can give you an example from my life. Like, I always have difficulty, you know, I think family is one of the most difficult, you know, things to deal with, especially when you're someone who's like a light worker or starseed who has these expansive thoughts about the world. Like, I can't help but think wide perspective. I can't help but like think of the universe. I don't have like a small worldview. I have like this giant worldview. And when it comes to dealing with family, it's so hard. It's like, you have to, at some point, you have to shut yourself down and like bring yourself to a smaller worldview in order to like sometimes interact with certain people in your life. And I think family sometimes can be the most challenging. And it's painful for me to have to do that sometimes. And I'm not saying that like I'm better. I'm not saying that at all. but the worldview that is so expansive, you can tell. It's like you either have a worldview that is like way out there, or you have a worldview that is like more focused on right here and what's going on right now. And neither of them is wrong. I'm just telling you my experience of having to deal with someone who has a way smaller worldview than I do, right? And they like people that don't question the world, and all I do is question everything. So for Gemini, and I'm talking about myself because I'm a Gemini Sun and Rising, but this is about, are you, are you fully, like, are you healed enough to like be able to actually share your gifts with the world? And are the people that you're surrounding yourself with, are those the people that you want in your life? Okay, let's continue. Sorry. Cancer Sun and Rising. This is happening in your 10th house of career. So what's being questioned right now is, and because this is about healing, in order for you, the 10th house is not just career. It's like how you show up in the world. In order for you to like fully show up in the world, you have to show up with like confidence. But in order to have that Aries confidence, you need to heal the things that make you feel like you're not good enough to show up in the world. For Leo Sun and Rising, this is happening in your 9th house of spiritual integration. So this is a spiritual awakening for you. This is not a dark night of the soul, but more like a journey that you're beginning to discover your inner self once again. Virgo Sun and Rising, this is in your 8th house of change and transformation and death and rebirth and all of those themes that make life scary. But at the same time, I think that the change that is going to come is going to be the healing that you need in your life in the next 6 months. For Libra Sun and Rising, this is happening in your 7th house of relationships. Thank you guys for being patient about the readings. I apologize it's taking so long. If you want to get on the list is completely open. So Libra Sun and Rising, this is your house of relationships. So for you, this is, in what areas of your life have you acted in ways that were egotistical? And have you humbled yourself enough in terms of in relationships to be able to actually fully see the other person and not just see yourself? In Scorpio Sun and Rising, this is happening in your 6th house of work and being in the present moment. So this is the house where you connect with the world that is right in front of you. And it's about your daily schedule. It's like daily life for Scorpio. The healing that you're going to start to see is you'll have to ask yourself, am I actually walking the talk? Am I actually walking the talk? That's literally what the 6th house is about. Are you walking the talk? Sagittarius Sun and Rising, this is about your creativity, the 5th house. So this is your passion, your ability to manifest. You're the same thing with everyone. Your creativity is not going to like be awakened if you're in a negative place, or if you haven't quite healed, or if you're not sure about yourself. Like, self-esteem is a big one. And Aries gives you that self-esteem to be able to really like express yourself, because the 5th house is about expression through the creative arts. And creative arts doesn't mean only artists. I mean, creation is everything. But it's like, do you feel good with what you're manifesting in your life? Capricorn Sun and Rising, this is the 4th house of the home. So for Capricorn, you're going to see a lot of like healing at home, in the realm of home and your relationships at home, and also with your heart center, your emotions. It might be having to actually face and look at your emotions, when I think normally Capricorn doesn't really like to do that, because the emotions take away its control. So it's like you will be faced with having to let go of the need to be in control. For Aquarius Sun and Rising, this is the 3rd house of communication. So it's similar to the 5th house in that sense that it's about expression, and it's expressing yourself in ways that feel like you're being allowed to be yourself, but also you're taking into consideration everyone else in the room, or everyone else that's listening to you, or, you know, everyone else that's like hearing you expressing yourself. And it's about being clear, super clear, and not being impulsive when you communicate with people, not being impatient. Pisces Sun and Rising, this is your second house of finances and values and your relationship to the material world. For you, the healing that needs to happen is, it has to do with like how money comes into your life, the second house. But the second house isn't just about money and finances. The second house is like the things that are important to you, the things that you value in the material world. What do you like to have in your life? And there's nothing wrong with loving, you know, sometimes the things that give you comfort in your life. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So that's what this is. This is going to be a journey of healing your relationship with the thing. Like, are you really comfortable with what you have around you in all ways? Are you comfortable with it? Or do you need to make some changes? Or is there something that's just not quite aligning for you? And so you need to, like, those things have to be changed so that you feel more comfortable. But the second house is also about pleasure. It's ruled by Venus. So relationships could have a big part of this for you. I would say stay connected to what you intuitively feel is the thing that makes you feel the best. And when you start to see that you're surrounding yourself with things or even people that don't feel right for you, what needs to change? Is it you? Is it them? Is it the surroundings? Like that's what you have to think about with the second house. Okay, so thank you guys for listening to all of that. But here it is. It's happening tomorrow. Chiron goes retrograde tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's a big deal. So we got Christina G is number 1 on the list. I'm going to go check the PayPal to make sure I got all the names correctly. We've also got Jennifer on the list. So Christina, feel free to put up your question. And remember, you guys, that you can ask a astrology question or a tarot or oracle question when you do sign up. And thank you for signing up for a reading. I love my Pellegrino. We've got Allison on the list as well. You're welcome, Jessica. I didn't even look at your comments. I apologize, you guys. Because I was busy talking. You guys, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to freaking do it. I'm so excited. Do you want tarot, Christina? I'm so excited. Oh, Sparky too? Awesome. So there's room for 7 people on the list. We got 4 so far. All right, let's pull some cards for Christina. Any new changes coming up for Christina? I'm going to use the Astro dice tonight. In case you've never seen them, that's what they look like. One of them has the planets, one of them has the signs, and one of them has the houses. And so this gives me information. It's like pulling a card except with dice. So what Any changes coming up for Christina? Hang on. And I saw that Kimberly also made a payment. So I'll add you to the list in a moment. Thank you, guys. We've got Christina, Jennifer, Allison, Kathleen, and then Kim. Holy moly. 10 of Cups is the first card we get. That's very nice. Okay, what does Christina need to know about this 10 of Cups? I think it means that you are receiving the gifts of the hard work that you've been putting in general in life. Okay, what else does Christina need to know about this? Divine Wisdom card. Whoa. These are intense cards. Well, you know, when you, wow, why do the cards keep flying like that? All right, the cards that fell out are kind of crazy. So you got the 10 of Swords. You also have the Tower. And you have the Queen of Pentacles. So this, I'm going to stop there because that's kind of a lot already to take in. Here's what I am going to say. I think that the wisdom that's coming to you right now from this message is you're moving in a direction that feels really, really good. You're moving in a direction that it's almost like a dream come true for you. You're like, you're on the right track. That's the 10 of Cups tells me you're on track to live your best life. And the 10 of Cups is a little bit of that Capricorn energy because it's like the success that you get from working really hard and putting in the work for years and years and years, and finally getting to achieve what you wanted, the success that you wanted. But there's wisdom here that's coming through. And so the changes that you're going to see, you asked, what are the new changes coming up for me? You are going to have to deal with this 10 of Swords and with the Tower card in order to fully step into that Queen of Pentacles energy, which is mastering your ability to manifest what you truly want in your life. And the 10 of Swords is a card that points towards having had so much like gnarliness in your life to the point where everything culminated and it's now over. And so you are now moving away from all of that energy. You know, the 10 of Swords is like the backstabbing and the suffering and the pain and the, you know, the agony and the overkill, like beating the dead horse, it's already dead. So there's nothing that you can do now. That phase of your life is over. However, I think that the divine wisdom that is coming to you is through the Tower card. And you're going to see what this tells me. This card tells me that there's big changes. There's big changes. And you may not like them or feel comfortable with all the changes that are coming, but the Tower signifies big changes. It's not a negative thing. It's just that you are experiencing the shift between what is before and after the Tower. So before the Tower is instability, and after the Tower it's like complete stability. So how do you get to a place of feeling completely stable in your life? Well, you have to obviously let go of the past, and you have to accept that things have to change, and they have to change dramatically. And I'm going to say dramatically because it's the Tower card. And let's roll the dice to see what you get. You got 10th house of career, Neptune in Taurus in your 10th house of career. Neptune in Taurus in your 10th house of career. So we were just talking about the 10th house, right? With the 10 of cups and then the number 10's kind of coming up. Neptune is the planet of dreams. The 10th house is career, but also showing up in the world. So your dreams have to get, like, you need to set a practical plan for your dreams. That's Taurus energy. You need to set a practical plan for your future. You need to set yourself a practical plan for success in your life. Your dreams materializing through the Taurus energy, because Taurus is the second house of the material possessions. Your dreams are going to materialize, but you have to get disciplined about the change. That's the 10th house of Capricorn. Your dreams are coming true, but you have to get disciplined about it. That's a really cool reading. Thank you, Christina. So we got Jennifer next. I'm going to check the PayPal real quick. Thank you guys so much for being here, by the way, and hanging out and supporting me. You're welcome. So Jennifer, Allison, Kathleen, and then Kimberly. That's who's on the list. Will Leo come back to me? Is this Leo going to come back to Jennifer? Is this Leo going to come back? 9 of Cups. You know what I'm going to say about this card, Jennifer? Be careful what you wish for. Let's pull some more. But basically, the 9 of Cups is the card of wishes coming true. If you wish it, it'll happen. But is that what you really want? Let's pull some more cards. I think what it's saying is this, like, what you focus on, you will attract. But also, if you really, like, truly want this, I think it can definitely happen. But what else does she need to know about this 9 of Cups card? The Page of Wands. So the pages bring messages. So what's the message that's coming for her? This is a message of, it's like passion. The wand energy is the fire element. And Leo is a fire sign. So somebody's bringing, oh, look at this. And the Page of Pentacles. So something wants to come to you. That's what I'm getting from these cards. Something is trying to come to you. There's a message trying to come to you right now. And it's a message about your passion, but it's also a message about, like, your relationship with the material world, your relationship with, like, what is comfortable, your relationship to money too. But we're talking about like actual relationship here. So this is your relationship to pleasure. And look at the card that comes next, because then we think this is the actual message. So what's the message? The message that's coming to you is the 5 of Swords. So that's why it's funny, because as soon as this Nine of Cups card came out, the first thing I thought of, it wasn't like, yes, it'll happen. Yay, we're happy. We don't need to pull any more cards. That's not what I felt from this card. What I felt from this card was, be careful what you wish for. And the Page of Wands, there's a a message of passion, but that fire element, this could represent him. But there's also, a message trying to come through in terms of like, is this what really brings you pleasure in your life? And then the Five of Swords is like the energy of like, it's like almost like fighting. It's like there's conflict here. So why it almost seems like this reading is saying, yes, it can totally happen if you really want it to happen. But is this really what you want? Do you really want to go back to the energy of that Five of Swords, which is like conflict doesn't really help you? Let me verify. We just pulled another card that's actually pretty cool. So when I was reading the energy of the Five of Swords, I was actually feeling the energy of the Five of Wands. And so it's interesting that the Five of Wands actually came out right after that. And the energy of the actual Five of Swords is similar, but what it actually is more in tune with, and I'll tell you some more about this Five of Wands too that came out, but the Five of Swords is about, it's not just about feeling that like you sort of tension, negative conflict energy, but it's about feeling like you are alone, like you can't connect. There's a separation between the two of you. And the separation is caused from the conflict that arises. It's like too much, it's like there's a competitive energy between you two. And so when you look at this, here's a sort of clue in this card. Do you see that there's like a light at their heart center? Or at least in the girl in the center. There's this light that's like emanating from her center. And so I think what the card is saying is you have to find your truth, but the truth doesn't come from thinking whether this would work out or not. It comes from actually feeling it to your core that this is exactly what you want in your life. I don't know. That's what's coming out. I'm gonna actually let's do the Astro dice. So, oh my God, that's crazy. We got Neptune in Taurus in the second house. And why is that significant? And why is this completely different than the Neptune in Taurus in the 10th house, which is the reading I just did? This is different because Taurus rules the second house. Taurus rules the second house. So what is Neptune doing in the second house? If Neptune is dreams, if Neptune is also illusion, if Neptune is also, what's the word? It's dreams, illusion, escaping, feeling like escaping. And Taurus is ruled by Venus, which is the the goddess of relationships. Neptune in the home of Venus is creating a fog that's not letting you see the truth. That's what's happening here. And so this relationship could be your way of escaping reality, This relationship could be your this is the comfort level that you're at with it. You really want it. I can tell you really want it. And at the same time, the universe is saying, but there's an illusion here, because the reality of it is that there's kind of this gnarly energy that comes from this connection. So, like I said, from the very first card, if you really want it, I think you can literally wish it to come true. But is it what you really want? And are you really truly seeing the reality of what's going on in the situation? So, thank you. Sorry, that was kind of a gnarly reading. But what are you going to do? We've got Allison next. Okay, Kim, got it. But I'm going to add your name to the list twice then. I decided that since I only did you realize I only did mini readings in June twice? Isn't that crazy? So we got room for 3 more on the list. Tarot, please. Have I healed enough to create with my soul's purpose? Chiron in my 10th house, and you made your LLC today. Are you the one that was posting in the astrology group about doing that? I can't remember. There's so many names I see. Have I healed enough to create with my soul's purpose? Do you know what sign your Chiron is in? Okay. Have I healed enough to create my soul's purpose? Ooh, the Hermit. That's interesting. That's interesting. The Hermit is going within. I was thinking about this because as I was reading your question, I got this feeling of this is an inner journey. I instantly felt like, whoa, this question is really personal. Am I healed enough, right? You could reach out, for the answer to this question, but it's really the message that can come through will never be as powerful as the message that you will get from your inner self, right? The inner journey that only happens when you're in the hermit mode, which is you go within. Of course, the message is powerful because it's telling you of these things, right? But what I mean is it's an inner journey for sure. And then look at this. The Tower comes right after the Hermit. The realization that's going to come from this inner journey. The Hermit also feels like the Chiron retrograde. But the Tower card is saying that there are some changes that still need to happen in order for you to fully feel like you're healed enough to create your soul's purpose, to create with your soul's purpose. And why is that? Because the answer to that question should be a 100% yes that comes from within. And I hate to say these things because it sounds like I'm being mean or something. But the truth is that you need to know this from deep within your soul. You need to know this. No one else can tell you whether you're ready, whether you've healed enough. And the truth about healing too is that healing is always happening. It's like forever happening, you know? So the answer is yes. And the answer is it comes from deep within. Because the confidence that you gained from realizing this, that the answer that comes from the inner knowing is, I don't even know what I was saying with that because I lost my train of thought. But basically, the answer is yes, because of course, you're healed enough. There's no requirement to create, right? At the same time, you will also have an inner knowing at some point. You should have an inner knowing that says, I'm here. I've arrived. I feel good. I'm ready, right? And that's why I think the Hermit card is here and then the Tower right after that. Because the minute you start taking this journey within and you start focusing on your inner world, you will realize the changes that need to be made. And the changes that need to be made might surprise you. They may not be changes like in your life. They may be changes in the way you think about stuff. And then you get the Four of Wands, which is the card of celebration. So from this inner journey that the universe is asking you to take, and the shifts that are going to come from that, mostly like a mind processing, what's going to happen is you're going to end up in a place of like joy and gratitude and celebration. And the Four of Wands is also, it's the card of marriage. So it's like, it's interesting that it's coming up because you talked about your soul. It's almost like the healing enough for your soul to, to express through is more about allowing the soul, like getting out of your own way, getting out of the soul's way, or merging with the energy of the soul, which does require some definite like releasing. And then you get the Three of Pentacles. And look at, there's more celebration here. There's like unity, there's connection, right? Like look at the images of the cards, okay? You walk through the Hermit portal alone. It's just you. But then lots of big changes happen. And then there's two people, right? But then what happens after the change and the shift is, look at that. Two people and they're kind of like holding hands. They're connecting. There's connection here. And then you have the Three of Pentacles, which is like a group of people connecting. So every time it's like more support feels like it's coming into the picture. And the Three of Pentacles is you being rewarded for your achievements and your successes. So I think that you're definitely moving in the right direction. If I have to ask, I know the answer. Yes, it will come from within. Soul merge sounds awesome. Yes, exactly. So I think the answer is the answer is coming. And that like that gut feeling that you're looking for, right? The answer to this question is nearby. And I think that this Chiron, because you mentioned Chiron, and I think this is a big theme for you, that it'll go retrograde in the house that you have Aries, right? But of course, because you do have Chiron in your 10th house, there is a healing journey that has to do with finally showing up in the world. And Chiron in Taurus is about, that's funny, huh? Chiron in Taurus is about, it's a identity crisis about what you value. So you have to figure out in your life what it is that you value, what is important to you. And then that's how you're going to find like the healing path. And it'll lead you to the next phase and the next phase and the next phase. Let's do the astro dice. So you've got Jupiter in Pisces, in the second house. Look at that. Ruled by Taurus. Dude, the second house came up twice now. Okay, Jupiter expands things. So this is interesting. Jupiter is the expanser, right? So is that even a word? He expands everything he touches. So what he's expanding in Pisces right now, this is the healing. This is the healing that you're like asking about. Jupiter will expand your ability to see from a higher mind, from a higher perspective. It will expand your ability to see from the eyes of the divine. And the Pisces is the world of Neptune, right? So it's your dreams, it's your hopes, it's the mystical, it's your intuition, it's your psychic gifts. So Jupiter will expand your ability to see beyond the veil, to see the unseen and hear the unheard, and to figure out, right, in the realm of the second house, what it is that healing needs to be, or what it is related to. And it is exactly the energy of that Chiron in Taurus. So the healing, I think that the answer that you're looking for is going to come through more in-depth focusing your energy on receiving. I think receiving is because Pisces is all about receiving information. But I think that I think you're definitely on the right track. But I do think that there's still some big changes that are coming, and it's going to be a mind thing for you. It's a belief system. There's some kind of belief system that's blocking you from accessing your inner truth. And it's not necessarily about healing as much as it is about releasing. It's like, let that belief system go. And you'll notice that once that's gone, you're already there. Thank you, Allison. All right, Sparky. And I love that you said that, Wendy, too. I don't think you'd be here in this group if you weren't. It's true. This is a very beautiful community that we have here. I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but if you go in other places and other channels and stuff like that, like you got some gnarly trolls in there, you know? We don't really have trolls here. And it's something to be, grateful for. This is definitely healing space. Okay. Energetically connected to someone trying to have no attachment to, feeling in the solar plexus a tug from him. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then crossing his path on the road Wednesday. So you actually saw him without like planning to see him? Is that what you were saying? Energetically connect, and this is the kind of thing that you're gonna see in the Moon Goddess training. Like, it's really beautiful what happens. Okay, just wanted to be clear. So like what is the exact question though? I'll just start pulling cards. I think what you're wanting to know is like, is anything about it? Anything? Any kind of guidance? I'm assuming that's what. Okay. Solar plexus. Oh, the Hierophant comes first. There's a powerful presence. Okay. So the Hierophant is, I like to call the Hierophant the Ascended Master. Because the Hierophant is like, it's kind of like the equivalent, the masculine equivalent of the High Priestess, in a sense. But it's the masculine energy of it, which is interesting. The masculine energy is what needs the healing here. For some reason, that's what's coming through. And then you get the Universe. Let me keep pulling cards. These are major arcanas that are coming out. What else do we need to know? What is going on, Sparky? Wheel of Fortune. And then the Hanged Man. It's all major arcanas. Like, are you kidding me? Wendy. Okay, and then the Queen of Wands. Okay, I'm going to keep going because I need some more clarification on this stuff. These are like big themes. What else do we need to know? Can you clarify these major arcana cards? Can you give us a clue? Four of Swords. So you haven't talked to him in 6 months, but what keeps pulling you back? What do you feel keeps pulling you back? Is it the desire to communicate? Or is it the fact that you just keep sensing him? Can I get 2 more cards, please? You know, 2 more, please. 2 more. We would really like 2 more. Okay. 1 more. Can I tell you something? I'm going to tell you a personal story. It was really random, but I think it's significant. So, when I first started dating, I was 15 years old. And I was with someone, and we pretty much grew up together. It was like we were 15 together, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You know what I mean? 21, 22. And it wasn't until I was like 23 years old. So from 15 to 23 years old, where like this was the only person I'd ever been with. And it was it was basically my first and only relationship from age 15 to like age 23. And then at age 23, I decided to leave LA. And I went to Boulder, Colorado. And that's where I had like my massive awakening. My massive tower moments happened in Colorado, and I will forever be grateful to that land, to that place for like calling me and being like, girl, you need to change. You need to evolve. You need to awaken. Like there's so much more out there that you haven't even seen yet. But I felt the call and I went, right? Well, I haven't talked to this person in years, but there's been a couple of moments throughout my life where me and this person have had contact. And it's been contact that it's never a coincidence. And it's interesting to me. And I hadn't heard from him in like maybe, I don't know, a few months. And I'm talking like years go by and I don't hear from this person. But it's not like we're in contact. It's just something happens and it's like, oh hey, we've connected somehow. But what I'm getting at is that last Saturday, on the day of the full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn, this person calls me. And I was like looking at the phone. And my mind was as the phone was ringing, my mind was processing. And I was like, is this really happening? Like, is this person really calling me? Like, well, that's really random. And oh my God, it's a full moon. And then it was like, what's going on? And then I missed the call because I was sitting there like talking in my head. So I was like, and I missed the call. And then I was like, oh my God. I was like, I have to call back. I was like, I have to call back. Like, this is not a coincidence. I have to face this. Okay? It was like, I 100% just went, I'm ready. Let's do this. Let's effing do this. And I called him back. And we talked on the phone for like 2 hours. And at first it was like a little awkward and we were like, you know? And then it just got really comfortable. And then by the end of it, we were like cracking up. Like good old times, you know? But what I realized was that it was not a coincidence that I ran into him. And it was not a coincidence that there was something there for me and it was healing. And I followed my intuition. And you're talking about this is coming from your solar plexus. And those kind of things, those kind of intense intuitive hits come from your solar plexus. Like that's the place of action, of willpower. So you have to find a way to decipher the meaning of the pull that you're getting. And now I'm going to go to the cards. So the Hierophant, it's like that's the presence, right? That's like you're feeling something important about something you need to see. You're feeling it in your solar plexus and you're thinking to yourself, this is connected to him somehow, and that's not a coincidence. So is it really him, or is it just a process that you're going through? You have to differentiate between those two things. Is it an opportunity to heal? The fact that you're running into this person and you're like not wanting to. Like all of those things mean something. And I think that the presence of the Hierophant is saying, like, pay attention. What is the message that's coming through for you, right? Of course, that's why you're getting this reading. So the Universe card is, do you see how she has that? It looks like it's the moon. It's in her hands. But the universe is like the expansive energy that contains all of the answers and at the same time feels like there's nowhere to find the answer. I feel connected to him. It's not originating from me. The Wheel of Fortune is a sign that something is about to shift, that something is about to change. Hi there. So what you need to do right now is you need to just ride this out. Because I feel like there's a culminating energy that's coming, but it's not, the answer is not quite, you're not quite ready to receive the answer yet of what this actually means. And so the universe is saying, just take a moment and take a break and wait and see, because the energy is about to shift in some way, shape, or form. It's turning into, the wheel is turning. And what's going to happen when the wheel starts churning, and when you give yourself the time to stop and pause and wait to receive the answer? So this is what's going to happen. The pausing and the waiting, the Hanged Man and the Four of Swords are both similar energies, and you're getting both of them in one reading. Let me put this one down so I can show you what I'm talking about. You get the Hanged Man and the Four of Swords, both of these. The Hanged Man is wait, and the Four of Swords is you need to stop and you need to give yourself some time to rest from it. If you've been like overthinking it, you need to give yourself some time to just completely separate. This thing too, bringing up the swords and the fact that this Four of Swords is about like going into meditation or resting or self-care so that you completely disconnect. The Four of Swords is telling you that you need to disconnect. You know what this is also bringing up for me? Swords energies is Angel Michael, Archangel Michael. And there's I think maybe we've done it before, but I think we did the cutting cords meditation. You could listen to that and visualize Archangel Michael like cutting the cord, like officially cutting the cord between you and this person, if this is exactly what you want. I think that once you do that, the passion, your passion, will return. And the next two cards that come out, we got the Two of Pentacles. And I don't think that usually this card represents like, you know, you're feeling like you're juggling too many things at once. But I don't think that's what this card represents for you. I think that this Two of Pentacles just represents that like there's what you're dealing with right now is there's a connection, right? That you are feeling that you're not wanting. There's a connection that you're feeling that you're not wanting. And so you're like kind of, the juggling is not like in life in general, but the juggling is like I think what you might be going through is like, do I need to actually contact this person because I keep seeing them all the time? Or like, what do I need to do? Right? Because why would you need guidance if you weren't juggling, if you weren't questioning? Right? Why would you be asking for guidance on it if you weren't sure what to do? If you had like two things going on right here in your mind. And I think that you're going to find the answers when you give yourself the time to feel into it. And it seems like you have your mind made up about the fact that what you're feeling and what you're sensing is totally him. And you have your mind, it seems like you have your mind made up about a lot of stuff. And so this is what I'm going to challenge you to do. I'm going to challenge you to let go of what you feel sure about and to open it up to the universe, to another perspective, to something else coming in and saying, hey, this means this. But the only way you can do that is you have to, I said it before, you have to, in another reading, you have to get out of your own way. And that's tough. You have to get out of your own way, and you need to literally, the Four of Swords is literally sit there in meditation. You're not asking anything. You're just sitting there, and you are in the receiving mode. Right? You're not in the action mode, you're in the receiving mode. And you're asking for your own guidance, your own intuition to bring you a message. And you're giving yourself the time that you need to like allow the answer to come through. But it's going to be loud and clear if you get out of your own way. if you stop feeling like, no, this is what it is, and this is what it is, and this is what I'm feeling, and that's not what I'm feeling, and things like that. I think that this reading is saying, and the universe is telling you that there's the change is happening. You have to just trust that things are shifting, and you don't know the answer yet to it. And that's why you need to be patient and give yourself the time to like connect, but connect with your higher self, if that makes sense. And let's do the Astro Dice. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I don't even know what I was just talking about, because that's what happens to me. I'll start talking and then I'll be like, what was I just saying? But just throwing truth bombs out there without registering. Jupiter. Yeah, you're welcome. Jupiter in Gemini. Well, that ain't that interesting. In the 11th house. Jupiter expands. Jupiter is expanding your ability to see reality. Jupiter wants you to see the reality of the picture. Jupiter wants you to focus on like the hardcore facts on what's happening right now in this moment, right? That means not thinking about the future and not thinking about the past. It means like right here, right now. It also means he's expanding your ability to communicate in general in life. And he's also wanting you to focus on sharing your gifts with the world. And the gift is the gift of communication. So I'm going to leave it at that, because I don't want to say this means this and this means that. But that's what the reading is saying. It's like Jupiter wants you to focus on communication, but connecting with your ability to share your gifts with the world through the world of communication. And that's the focus. That's your focus right now. Other things that Gemini symbolizes is expressing yourself, technology. It's Mercury energy, so it's the mind too. It's thinking, it's figuring things out logically. It's interesting because you have these two things that are kind of playing a part here. Yes, it's still open, but okay, I'm gonna stop because I feel like I'm rambling now. But I think I made my point. I think I did. Thanks, Sparky. We got Kim. Next, I'm going to check PayPal real quick. Thank you, everyone, so much for the donations, for getting on the list. And don't forget to check out all the awesome things that are happening. The Moon Goddess training, which starts on the 19th. The module, Aquarian Astrology Module 3, all about the moon, which starts on July, which we're going to do July 23rd. Okay, awesome, Sparky. And the Etsy shop, the necklaces on Etsy too. Don't forget to get your little awesome Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising and your birthstone on a sweet little necklace. Jai, for my first reading, I need my Sun's transit reading. Okay, time of birth was somebody currently lives with me, and it will help me ask my question in the second reading. Okay. I hope this thing's charged. Here we go. We're switching gears a little bit. Awesome, Abby. All right. Kim's Sun. Date 3/21/87. And 9:34 a.m. in Tacoma. Okay, let me make sure I got this right. 3/21/87, 9:34 a.m., Tacoma, Washington. No, I love that you had that ready. Okay, let me pull it up on the screen. Queuing, queuing, queuing. You can do it. Okay. So there we are. So this is the inner circle is your sun's chart, and then the outer circle are the transits. So Wendy, yeah, that usually means that someone is signing up. Okay. He's Sun conjunct Jupiter and the North Node. Dang. He's like a lucky charm. Not even kidding. Your son's a lucky charm. That's so cute. Okay. However, we are going to focus. Okay. So let me tell you what's happening. So let's talk about this. The Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, conjunctions, they've been happening in his 8th and 9th house. His 8th house of death, change, transformation, his 9th house of spiritual integration. So this year, 2020, has been a big year for him to go through kind of some pretty big internal shifting in regards to his spirituality. Like, his belief systems have been broken, and he's in the process of creating new belief systems. How old is he? Let's see, 84, 85. So he's 33. Anyways, he's going through that kind of journey this year. And the other major things that are happening, if we look at his 11th house, that is where there's Mars and Chiron right there. They're already pretty much conjuncting, but Chiron's going to go retrograde tomorrow. And Mars is going to conjunct Chiron on the 14th. And that's happening in his 11th house. So that's him healing in terms of how he's trying to figure out how he's going to show up in the world in terms of like sharing his gifts. He's trying to figure out what he's going to do. That's the healing that he needs to go through. And if he thinks, right, like he's like, oh, he's entitled or whatever, that's Sun, Jupiter, North Node all in Aries. That's an intense Aries stellium in his chart that makes him feel like, yes, he's important because his sun is magnified by Jupiter. And then it's magnified by the fact that like his purpose in life is to be independent, to do things his own way. And Jupiter majorly magnifies that, and also his sun. So he's like really strong Aries energy. So he's going to have that like initial, at first, I think it can manifest as like he feels that he's right, entitled or whatever. That's one way to say it. But right now, he's gonna learn a pretty big lesson. He's been learning it, but now it's going to become more real for him. And so he, like, his work right now is to figure out what is, how he can heal his own flaws, I guess you could say. Because the Aries energy is aspecting his sun, Jupiter, and North Node. So he's going it's big. He's going through some pretty big shifts right now. Let's see what else I can see. And then you've got the North Node transiting his first house of the self. So that's trying to come to terms with who he is and what his purpose is right now, collectively. Interesting. Well, you can just tell that he's gonna these transits are going to affect him pretty intensely. His own soul, like his personal life. That's what it's aspecting. So it's intense, and I think he feels a need to be connected with people, and so maybe he's been out there in the world and he's gotten really hurt by other people, right? And so he's hurt people himself. And now he's learning to heal that about himself. That's really gnarly. Yeah. And that's interesting, New Year's Eve, because that's when those transits were passing through his 8th house of death. That was in January. He definitely needs to know that he's not alone. But I know that's difficult. But he needs to know that he's not alone, and he needs to know that these things are happening and that it's completely normal for him to be questioning himself and his life. Except just question your life without actually taking it. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people don't realize that it's crazy because, Teal Swan has a lot of videos. Teal Swan, I think Teal Swan, if he's that intense of a person, only really, really intense people tend to do those kind of things. But I would search for the Teal Swan videos where she talks about suicide. She has a very different perspective than most therapists or healers. And there's a book that she has called The Completion Process, which I think I would recommend that he read. I don't know if he's a reader or any of that stuff, but there's an identity crisis that he's going through. It's a big deal. Yeah, you're welcome. So that's his transits. And now we have Wendy, and I'm going to check the PayPal, and then we'll come back to you, Kim, after Wendy. Thank you guys for signing up. And thank you everyone also that has made donations to the GoFundMe page. You have no idea how exciting it is to know that, like, I have you guys' support on that. On getting the album out there and putting my music out there and all these things. Like, I'm actually really excited about the podcast. And obviously, as soon as I hit the halfway point in the GoFundMe page, I'm going to make that deposit and start, like, signing contract and all that stuff. So right now we're at $1,600 something. So we have maybe a little bit less than $1,000 to get to the halfway point. And then I will, like, hit the go button, make the deposit, sign the contract, set a date. Oh my God, it's so exciting. So feel free, if you guys don't, you guys support me like this too by getting readings, by the way. Everything supports me by signing up for my programs and my classes and all that stuff. But that money specifically set aside for that, for the album. But if you want to share it out with friends, that helps a lot too. Let people know it's out there. Oh, you gifted it to Pawan. Okay. 14th July is your birthday. Oh, that's the day of the Chiron Mars conjunction. What is this year bringing? Any dreams come true or just some life financially love matters? Yeah, do you want a tarot reading? This is my invisible drink. Let's drink some more. The magical drink of the gods. Yay! How many people have we had on the list? Let's see. Oh, 10. Yes. Okay, we're going to do a tarot reading. So I just want to, right now we're working on Pawan. And then we have Kimberly, Jamie, Lindsay, and Megan, just so you guys know. So what's this year going to bring for Pawan? What is this year going to bring for Pawan? Let's see what the cards want to say for you. You know, you guys should send me ideas of topics that I can talk about in my podcast. Why don't we do that? Let's create a post on the Facebook group, Channel for Grace Soul Tribe, where you guys can suggest ideas for me to talk about for the podcast. I mean, I have a lot of ideas, but just, wanting to know what you guys would like to hear about in a podcast. Let's get 2 more cards, please. Okie dokie. Let me just verify. You got a lot of wands energy in this reading. That's passion and creativity. Okay, so here we go. First card that we got is the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is, like I said, it's a fiery energy. The Knight of Wands comes in with a lot of passion. He comes in with purpose, and he's moving forward in a direction of growth. So I see you moving forward in your life in this year. The Queen of Swords is the next card, which means that as you start to move forward in life, as you feel this sort of, fiery passion energy that's kind of carrying you through, you need to get clear about what it is that you want. You need to get clear about your communication. You have to be okay with speaking your truth and not necessarily like not giving in to people that not giving in to the pressure from people, because um you're on this like you're on this journey of learning about yourself, but understanding who you truly are. And the only way to do that is to be very clear about your boundaries in general. Very clear with boundaries. You also get the Three of Wands, which is, this is kind of a card of, it's like forging a partnership, especially in terms of a business relationship, or allowing someone who is successful and knowledgeable to help you with whatever projects you're going through or activating. And the people that you need to connect to, or the person that you need to allow to help you, is someone who is like the King of Cups, who understands the world through the realm of the emotions, who can help guide you because he's had the experience in life. He's gone through ups and downs. And this is the person that can guide you. It can be a woman too. It doesn't have to be a man. But there's an energy that wants to help you. That I feel that you can't do it alone. And so you have to collaborate with people, somehow connect with the right people, the people that help guide you through the whatever, someone has a lot of experience in in their lives. The next card you get is shadow work. So I feel like this is kind of changing topics, but for the next year or so, you're going to be doing a lot of shadow work. You're going to be discovering a lot about yourself, things that you never knew before. Your journey, that you're on in regards to whatever projects, whatever things you're like, beginning, and what you're learning, the boundaries that you're learning to set are going to help you heal from old karmic wounds. And doing shadow work is exactly that. It's healing from the past, and recognizing your own shadow in yourself. And that's what releases you, and that's what heals you in life. That's what helps you to it's like letting go of the demons and acknowledging that you're human, and then moving forward from there. The star is probably the coolest card that you get in the reading, because the star is all about your hopes and your dreams. And so the star says your hopes and dreams are coming true. You whatever you've been wishing upon a star, and the universe has been listening. And so your job is to find the balance between what you think, your thoughts in your mind, and what you feel as well. That's the key to making your dreams come true. My goodness, so much Taurus energy. This time we got Uranus in Taurus in the second house. Okay, so this is about big changes financially, unexpected changes financially. And Uranus is asking you to be okay with the change, to be okay with the shift, because the shift is necessary in order for you to build a new world for yourself. And this is definitely like related to how money comes into your life. So that's what I see. Okay. Sure, I can take one more if you want to sign up. So now we've got Kimberly again. We got Kimberly, Jamie, Lindsay, and then Megan on the list. And I can make room for one more if somebody wants to sign up, and then we'll close the list. All right, second half of the question. My son lives with me. I support us both. He makes promises. I bought him a car. My lower vibrational self is feeling taken advantage of. I try to meditate that away. Will he pay me back? Or should I be to be continued? That's kind of a gnarly situation to be in. Okay, I'm going to try to pull some cards while we get the rest of your question, and we'll see what comes up. Huh. 10 of Wands. And then the Chariot. You can do Cash App too if you want. But that's the only other form of payment that I can accept. And the Cash App is money sign Eagle Star Yoga. Let's do a couple more here. Okay. Okay, there's a lot here. There's a lot here. So the reading starts with the 10 of Wands. This is significant with what you brought up because the 10 of Wands is like you are carrying the load, and that's what you feel right now. And it shouldn't be all on you. No one likes to feel that energy ever. But you feel this way, whether it's true or not, right? You feel this way. Like the weight is on you. But here's the thing about the 10 of Wands. You are choosing to carry the weight. That's literally the 10 of Wands. It's like you choose to carry this weight because you prefer to do this on your own. Like you prefer to do it, right? So that's where you're at right now. But your desire is to sort of be free, or at least to start moving forward. Now the Chariot card comes fear. Exactly. The Chariot card comes, and the Chariot card says, there is a way out of this feeling. There is a way out of this feeling burdened. So what exactly is that? And the card that you get right after that is the Fool. And so the Fool is the Aries energy. The Fool is Aries. And your sun is Aries. So there's like a lot of like synchronicities here. So, but what does the Fool card represent? The Fool card it's the card of like looking to the future and feeling completely excited about the future. It's trusting, but also it's the urge. So I'm trying to figure out if this is your energy or his energy. I know it's funny. But what the Fool represents, it's like he's the one that will go charging forward, but not think about the consequences. You know what I mean? I'm sure you know what I mean. And so they have a lot of expansive ideas. They have a lot of excitement, but then there's no follow through. That's big Aries energy. Aries needs leadership in order to mature. And the leadership is symbolized by the Six of Swords. So what is needed is there needs to be leadership here in this situation. In order for the situation to move forward, there needs to be leadership. And so where is that, leadership going to come from? Well, the leadership is going to come from, there's a couple of ways. The leadership is going to come from, there's shadow work that needs to be done. There's shadow work that needs to be done. I think possibly on both ends, right? On your end and on his end, because there's a karmic tie here. It's a mother-son relationship. And so the shadow work is going to happen. Then the next thing that needs to happen is you need to set very clear boundaries. And then you need to not let anyone break the boundaries. Because the truth about setting boundaries and someone breaking them is not that they're breaking your boundary or they're disrespecting you. If you allow them to break the boundary, then you are breaking your own boundary, right? So you need to set, here's the rules, here's the this, here's the that. If this doesn't happen, then that's going to happen. There needs to be a consequence, right? The consequence is basically the boundary. And so when it gets to a point where, but you can't let the boundary get crossed a single time, because then people will take advantage. Because they'll be like, yeah, she said that, but then she let me fly that one time, so she's probably going to let me fly again. You know what I mean? But I'm in a womp. But I'm a wimp. Well, then you need to stop being a wimp. Are you signed up for the Moon Goddess training, Kim? Because that's kind of what that program is all about. Hey, Magali. I'm kidding and also not. But you need to learn how to set clear boundaries. And you need to learn that it's okay to set boundaries. And it's okay to be strict. There's a really good book I would recommend for you. It's called Setting Boundaries Will Set You Free. Find it on Audible and start listening to it now. So the other things that are going on here, there's the Seven of Cups, which is all about there's lies here. It's foggy. Like, this is Neptune energy. It's like it's not clear. It's like you have all these options, but you don't know which one to take. Like, you don't know which way to go. You're kind of feeling lost. So the work is, when leadership arrives, things will start to change. That's the message. Leadership. It's the only way. And it's not easy. It's not an easy path. So, let's do the astro dice for you. Yes, exactly. Get out. Okay. You get Uranus in Taurus. Again, Taurus comes up in the 8th house. Okay. So what you need to be okay with powerful change. You need to be okay with Uranus like shaking things up. And in the eighth house, it's unpredictable things that can feel really uncomfortable, that can cause like tower moments. So you need to allow yourself to move forward despite your fears. That's the work that needs to happen, is the movement forward despite the fears. Okay. Thank you. We've got Jamie, Lindsay, and then Megan. So if you can ask for an astrology reading or a tarot reading, just let me know in the chat. And whatever your question is, have it ready so you can just copy and paste it into the chat. Love you too. Yeah, talk to Wendy. Talk to Wendy. But still, I mean, 33 is like, I don't know, like, what was I doing at 33? You can't really compare women and men at the same age, though. Men definitely take longer to mature. But also, I mean, look at what's going on in the world. It's kind of gnarly. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. There's the Doyle. Okay. Tarot, I just have so much going on and open to messages or any guidance. Okay. So what does Abby need to know right now? What will give her... Yeah, right. What will give her... what's the message that will really serve her right now in this moment? Message for Abby. Abby Doyle. Ooh, Temperance. The Temperance card is all about balance, healing too. It's a little bit of Libra energy. It's also, I think there's another, I can't remember. I'm saying Libra because of the balance, right? The scales. But I think the Temperance card is actually a different sign. I don't know them. I know some of them very easily, and then some of them I'm like, I don't know which one that is. But I think there's healing going on right now for you. I think you're learning to find your way. You're seeing both sides of the picture, and the healing has to do with there's a little bit of an energy of like there's a resistance to releasing and letting go of old belief systems. Sagittarius, I was going to say that, Lindsay, and then I didn't say it, but yeah, so Sagittarius too. It's like the need for freedom, but you're kind of so this is the card, right? The Temperance card. We say Sagittarius, we say Libra. But there's a need for freedom here. There's healing that's actually happening. However, something's holding you back. It's the Four of Pentacles, and you can see this person has her hands on her throat. It's like you're not allowing yourself the full freedom to explore, especially with the Temperance card being connected to Sagittarius. It's like somehow you're holding yourself back, and there's a resistance to change. I think that's what I'm feeling. Let's pull some more. Two more. And one more, please. Ah. Okay, so this is so interesting. So here's the thing. Everything I basically, said. And then there's another energy that comes in that's kind of interesting. I think that what you're desiring, because the Four of Pentacles comes up and then the Six of Pentacles comes up, and I think what you're desiring is I think it's related to money. Like, I think your fears are related to money. It's like a lack mentality that's going on. And so you're kind of desiring that you had what you think you don't have, or what you think you can't have. And the problem with desiring what you think you can't have is the thought of that I can't have it creates the resistance to it actually coming. So you have to change the belief system behind it, the thought patterns that tell you that whatever fears are going on in your mind, like whether it's I'm not good enough, or things are not going well, or you're feeling like impoverished in some way, but like it's more of like you're it's like a greedy energy where like you can't let go, because if you do, you feel like you lose control. But the Nine of Wands is here, and the Nine of Wands says you're getting close. You're getting close, and what you're getting close to is like the shift, the change. The Wheel of Fortune is things are going to start to move. The wheel will start to turn. Yes, and it will be a life-changing experience. And I think what you're trying to heal is you're trying to heal from a broken heart in terms of this energy. The Three of Swords is the broken heart. That's what you're trying to heal. I think that's where the fear comes from. And it has to do with, at one point you were very well taken care of, and now it feels like you don't have that anymore. Somehow it feels like you don't have that security. And so there's a fear of the future, but you have to let go of that fear. You have to let yourself be curious about the future. Let yourself explore with your mind the different things that could come up, the different things that the world can bring to you, and that you can manifest yourself. You got, this is cool, North Node. Finally, we got something different. North Node in Capricorn in the 7th house. Okay. Obviously, North Node in Capricorn is about success, is focusing on success. It's interesting. Capricorn is the energy that we're going through right now. It's like the big shifts right now. It's the 2020 is a big Capricorn year. And it is all about making sure you're prepared, making sure you're taking the steps that you need to take to reach the success that you want to reach. It also means that you will reach that success because it's the North Node. And the North Node is destiny. It's like it is your destiny to find success. And then the seventh house is, okay, let's bring relationships into this. Not just any kind of relationships, but also business relationships. And so the success in that you will see in your life is focused on the relationships that you have, right? What kind of relationships do you need to have in your life in order to find the success that you desire? That's what this is saying. So that was kind of a cool reading. I liked it. All right, we got Lindsay and Megan, and I'm going to close the list. So that's the last two, Lindsay and Megan. Thank you, Abby. I can't wait for my podcast. I don't know why I'm so excited about it. I just love creating new things. And speaking of, right, Lindsay and I have been working together, and she's also going to start a podcast. So we might just start one together, like at the same time. And it's going to be really cool. And we'll support each other. Okay. Lindsay says, I keep trying to type specific questions, but I feel my guides wanting me to be more general. So what's the most important thing needing to come through right now? Okay. I know, right? I know. It's very exciting. Okay, so what does Lindsay need to know right now? Thank you, moderators, for being here, hanging out in the chat and helping out. I really appreciate it. Guys, make sure you follow the moderators. You never know, one day they'll go live themselves. I've been trying to get Wendy to come live with me and do readings with me, but she is not ready. But I think she is ready, but, you know, she's dealing with her own little fears. Yeah, we know we will. I sent you another video today, Lindsay, by the way. It's another good one. We've been watching YouTube videos together. It's kind of fun sending each other videos. But it is a really good one, and it's got a lot of information about the whole process of it. So here's the poll. I'm going to ask you guys that are watching, who would like, to put a 1 in the chat if you would like Wendy to go live with me and do readings with me one day. Ooh, what's it going to be, Shannon? Okay, one more, please. Yeah. Okay. Shannon. Oh my God. See, there you go. You see, Wendy? Okay. So here we go. The reading starts with the sun. This is a beautiful card. The sun is about joy. The sun is about finding, seeing the light. Honestly, it's seeing the light, seeing your, I feel like your own light is wanting to shine out, and the universe wants to show you that that's what is happening. Abby says she is ready. I see you in this card, like I see you kind of flirt, like coming out of hiding. That's what I feel anyways. The thing that you do have to deal with or like watch out for in general is if anything feels like if something in your life feels like someone's not being honest with you, or someone in your life feels like they're taking something from you, like they're taking but they're not giving back, I would say watch out for those kind of energies, because they'll create situations in your life that do not feel that make you feel like you're being kind of blocked, like something is blocking or something is like stealing your energy. And it could be, you know, we did that reading for Sparky and she was talking about how she's feeling someone else's energy. It could be something like that. It could be like someone is taking up space in your life that maybe doesn't need to take up space. And then we come to the Six of Wands, which is about leadership again. Meaning again, because I got it, I think, in the last reading. But stepping into leadership is what you are doing right now. This is what you're doing with everything that you've been working on and everything that you've been preparing. This is like the next level, because you're literally facing your fears, and that's how you step into leadership. You face your fears. It's so crazy. I actually came in during Sparky. Oh, crazy. Okay. So then you also get the Five of Wands. This is crazy energy. So there's an energy like in the air that feels uncomfortable. There's an energy that feels like there's some kind of competitive vibe. And I think it has to do also with the Seven of Swords. It has to do with this person. There's like two things happening here. There's like two different readings happening at once. But the vibe is that something feels off, and whatever this connection is, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. Somehow you need to cut the cord. The Ten of Wands is here as well, or Ten of Swords, which means that you are ready to move forward into a different energy. You're ready to let go of the past and move forward and release all the hurt and the backstabbing that you've felt. Seven of Swords and Ten of Wands are two kind of gnarly cards. But this is what you need. You're getting ready to walk away from. If you still feel like you are juggling too many things, in terms of like toxic energy or toxic relationships or things like that, if you feel like those things are getting in your way, the universe will create a situation that allows you to officially let go and heal that energy. And that's what's going to happen. That's the Tower. The Tower is here to tell you that whatever energies are still lingering that feel off, they are getting ready to be like removed, like ex-nate out of your life. And what you're going to find is a deep connection to your emotions, to your sacred divine feminine, and that energy of the High Priestess, which is exactly what the reading began with. So it's like the first card and the last card are freaking amazing. In between, there's things that need to get figured out. Trying to identify all the places my energy is being taken. Do you feel it has multiple energies? I think it's a culmination of like the effect that people have had on you throughout life. And it has to do with relationships, because check this out. You got Venus in Pisces in the 8th house. So what your focus is, right? The 8th house is the house of Scorpio. It's the house of the Tower. So here the theme of the Tower comes up again, but but it has to do with relationships, cutting cords, relationship cords, so that the any kind of cutting cords meditation then you can get your hands on is going to be really important, because those things have to be, you have to shift that energy, but you have to do it by literally cutting the cord. But Venus in Pisces brings in compassion. So it's not like this Tower moment is not going to be the kind of Tower moment that is like so harsh that you feel literally like you fall off the horse. It's not like that. It's more of like in your heart space. It's more of like in your emotional space, and it's the kind of healing that just kind of, it brings that beautiful like the humble energy into your heart. It is intense. Yeah, the 8th house, the Tower card, those are intense. But Venus, again, Venus is the goddess. So she is connected to the moon. And when you think of, like, now you have literally in this reading gotten the sun, which is your soul. You've gotten the moon, which is your emotions. And you've gotten Venus, which is the goddess of love and beauty. And those 3 planets are beautiful planets. Like the sun is like your full expression. It's the joy. The moon is like your sacred divine feminine. So like it's the yin and the yang. It's the masculine and the feminine. And then Venus is a benefic. Venus brings in beauty into your life. So Venus is going to bring a lot of beauty and a lot of joy and a lot of like healing energy into your life. And so it won't be the kind of tower that maybe you've experienced in the past, but it'll be a gentle release. That's what I'm getting. But I think this was a really cool reading. I love that. I'm enjoying using the Astro dice today. So we got Megan as our last one. Thank you everybody for being here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine the 2, because usually we do the drawing. So I'm going to combine the 2 times, the names from the 2 times that I went live in July for mini readings. And then the times that I'm going to go live in July, I'm going to bring them together. And then we'll do the drawing. We won't do the drawing until the end of July. I just need to check how many more times. Yeah, right. So technically there should be 2 or 3 more times in July that I'll do mini readings. I can't believe, okay, so like the Moon Goddess training is like already like not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And then the module 3 is that next Thursday. We have the new moon ceremony on the 20th. I mean, there's like, it's gonna come fast. It's gonna happen fast, you guys. And then before you know it, we're gonna be in freaking August again. It's crazy. I think I'm gonna release my podcast for the new moon in Cancer. I think that's when I'm gonna do it. Okay, so Megan, I'd like tarot reading and some insight into career and financial growth. Okay. So what does Megan need to know about her career and financial growth? What does Megan need to know about her career and financial growth? Well, the first card that pops up is the Ace of Pentacles, which means there is a new beginning coming into your life. And it's a new beginning that has to do with money, how you bring money in. It's also what you manifest, and it has to do with career, everything you just asked, and financial growth. It's a new way. I feel like it's a new way to make money that's being kind of birthed right now. Let's see what else we got. So what's your podcast going to be called, Lindsay? Then comes the 5 of Cups and then the Empress. And when you get the 5 of Cups, they're like you're grieving. There's a loss that you are grieving. There's something that you've lost, something that you've had to let go of. And it's just, it is what it is. Grief is grief. But here's the thing. You get the Empress card right after that. I guess I should show you these. This is the Ace of Pentacles. It also has the Eye of Ra in there, which I really like. Maybe your business or whatever new adventure you're going on is spiritually related. The Five of Cups is the card of grief and sorrow. And the Empress, she like rules. She rules the pentacles, basically. She rules the Taurus energy, like of manifesting, of money, of finances, of things like that. But her message is that she wants you to find prosperity in your life by finding your connection to Mother Earth. The Knight of Swords, what's happening is you're moving forward kind of fast. Maybe that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but the Knight of Swords comes in flying and it comes in determined. And that's the energy that you gotta activate within yourself and not be afraid of when you do that. Like, you'll have to walk away from the grief for sure. But it'll be because you're ready for the next phase. Ace of Swords comes out too. So here's another new beginning. This is the new idea. You're going to be getting a new idea. And the ideas are going to be related to making money. So I see a lot of good stuff. I see a lot of fast moving energy. I see that you are dealing with something that has caused you grief that you're just processing, and there's nothing really that you can do with in terms of grief. You just gotta feel it and go through it. So can I get three more cards? I'm a singer, songwriter, and I feel like I'm being launched for, but sometimes I can't catch my breath. Ooh, the Chariot. Ooh, I really like this. Yes, it's taking you there. Like, it's taking you there. Dude, I'm right there with you. I do the same thing to myself too. In terms of like everything. Creativity. You know, sometimes you should, find gratitude for the fast forward movement, because a lot of people right now are feeling the opposite energy. I'm not saying that to sound weird, but I just mean a lot of people are experiencing the opposite of fast moving energy forward. And they're like really scared, right? So you can find the time. You can like schedule things so that you feel comfortable taking time off when you need it and when it's appropriate. And I'm hoping that grief is the grief on the album. It could be. Yes, a way of expressing. Songs express a lot of emotions. So here's the card that comes out last is the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords. So she's very clear about her boundaries. So you might have to set some boundaries, especially like self-care boundaries, because otherwise you may get run over by the energy if it's too much. And you can't keep going full force. You'll eventually crash and burn, if you can't if you can't even give yourself some time off. So excitement, I see it. New beginnings, new ideas. Maybe the Ace of Swords means some new songs are coming through. There is grief that's being expressed. You're learning how to find your center through this very fast moving energy. And so learning to set better healthy boundaries, or boundaries in general, is going to be really important for you. Nice. Okay. Let's see what you get. Oh, interesting. You get Venus in Capricorn in the 10th house. All right, that's interesting because Venus represents the goddess. Venus represents beauty and art. So she's the realm of music, musical art, right? Artists, things like that, painters, musicians, all that stuff. That's all in the realm of beauty and the beauty of art, appreciating art. So the Capricorn energy, and then the 10th house is the house of career. So it's almost like there's an alignment here. There's beauty, like providing beauty and providing art and providing that stuff to the world is part of it's your life, it's your career. It's like not destiny exactly, but it's how you show up in the world. Is you share that art with the world. Now Capricorn, this is interesting because Capricorn creates restrictions. Venus doesn't really like Capricorn because Capricorn restricts the emotions. However, for everyone that is here's what happens with people that are in the industry of emotion. Well, when you are really connected to your emotions, right? Because there's certain artists that create stuff, but there's no emotion in it. I'm not talking about that kind of creativity. I'm talking about like the full-on artistic like creation where like emotions are like your guiding force in what you do and what you create. And Capricorn is all a business. And that's why I think this is challenging for you. And I totally identify with this because there's moments where you want to just be creative and you want to just be like in your art, but then the business part comes in and it makes you feel like you can't be creative or you're overdoing it. However, Capricorn in the 10th house is also the home house, like the home sign. So it loves to be there, and Capricorn means success. But Capricorn is also about, again, like set yourself up for success. So here we come back to the idea of you got to give yourself time to rest so that you can keep up with the Capricorn energy, which is business, career, success, all of those things. And also taking the baby steps to get to where you're going, but being organized, disciplined. It's discipline. So sometimes as artists and musicians, we need to discipline ourselves to take care of ourselves. Because we just like dive into our art and we just like get lost in it, and sometimes we burn ourselves out. You're a Capricorn? That's hilarious. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Megan. I am really happy to be able to do this reading for you. And thank you everyone else for hanging out. Nice. That makes for an amazing music. Be sure to share. Oh, yes. Yes. You guys can definitely share join our Facebook group. It's Channel for Grace Soul Tribe on Facebook. And I'm also on Instagram and Twitter and all that other stuff. And you can find me there as well. And yes, thank you, Wendy. If you'd like to help raise money for the album, that is definitely coming. Please go to my GoFundMe page. You can get to it through my website. And once you do that, just click support the GoFundMe album and you'll be able to just donate. It's really easy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll let you guys go. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I'm going to go and have myself an amazing weekend. And I will be back not till next week. And next week we get really close to the program starting. I may not come back until next Friday for mini readings. We'll see. We'll see. You're welcome. Also, if you have not gotten on my newsletter, on my email list, make sure that you do, because every Wednesday I send out a moon magic report where I tell you what the moon is doing for the whole week, what aspects it's making to major planets, and also I include major transits there as well, and how it's affecting us collectively. And then also you get, when you sign up for my email list, you get a free moon astrology guide. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you to everyone that signed up for a reading. You are now on the list to win the monthly giveaway, and that will happen at the end of July. And I'll see you guys soon. Sat Nam.